Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your Wednesday NBA slate of games. We're going to have a rundown of all the games. Yes, we said all the games. We're going to probably do this most days. I mean, it might be every once in a while where something happens.
Every day.
Schedules will, but we're going to try to do it every day. So make sure you like and subscribe our channel and get in on it. And don't forget, we got a couple deals right now. One of the best deals, it's at our YouTube Premium. And we're going to be doing some extra parlays, props, in both the NBA and the NHL. How do you get on them? Exclusively for level 3 members. It's just $49.99 a month. On top of that, you get all kinds of extra stuff from both me and Indian Cowboy already that we've been doing here at our premium level. But this is going to be extra parlays and props in addition 4 or 5 times a week. All right. Also, if you like football, we've got a football pass where you can get both of our plays. So DocSports.com/Craig Arun. You get 2 cappers for the price of one, just $99. So use that link here if you want the football plays for this week, which we got a big play. 6 picks from Indian Cowboy, including 1 top play. You're going to have 7, 8, or 9 plays from me, including 2 top plays. So make sure you get in on them at this link. All right, back to the NBA here. We're here for the picks, and we're going to try to make this maybe not rapid fire, but we're going to go through these somewhat quick to make it as concise as possible. Miami Heat at the Orlando Magic. Magic -8, total 214.5. There's a Magic team of people thinking a lot of them. What do you like here?
How much has things changed here, right? Okay, so you have a Miami Heat team here who, they return, from let it be Norman Powell. First of all, you have Tyler Hero out. You have Terry Rozier out. Okay, so keep that in mind. Then you have an Orlando Magic team here who added Desmond Bane, of course, who is a major upgrade in shooting over from Memphis. Okay, but keep in mind that Jalen Suggs is technically out and Mo Wagner is possibly out as well. But when you take a look at this Miami Heat roster versus this Orlando Magic roster, I think it's no comparison. Plus, the coaching edge is clearly there. I mean, you have a great coach with the Miami Heat, but the roster is a big deal. You have, once healthy, you have Bonchero and Wagner and Bane and Suggs and Moritz Wagner and Isaac and Jones and De Silva. And remember, this is an Orlando team that took the Celtics to, they took, the Celtics to 5 games, whereas Miami got swept by the Cavs. And I think when you put that together, I think Orlando is a team that, took it to my Hawks. They beat the Pacers on the road to close out last year. They beat the Celtics by 20. In fact, they beat the Hawks twice, 2 out of the last 3 times. I think there's only one way to look at this game, and that's to take the Magic to open off. And I like the fact that Miami beat this team in overtime as well the last time they played them. In fact, they beat them the last 2 times. There is a lack of talent in my mind with the Heat, and I really like the Magic here to get it done, minus the 8. This is not the Heat team of the old, for sure. Craig, the Nets here are a 5.5-point dog against Charlotte on a total of 227. Who do you like here?
I mean, I can't believe that the Hornets are favored by this much, but it tells you how much. I'm not saying the Nets are trying to get the most ping pong balls, but it doesn't look like they're trying to win anything this year. I mean, every move they made this year, I just scratch your head like, it doesn't make any sense. You're in the mecca of basketball, supposedly New York City, and you have a team that's going to have this young of team and this lack of talent. And I think this is going to be a good Hornets team. The Hornets just got to stay healthy. I really like what they did. I like that Canepo pickup from Duke. I think this kid can really shoot the ball. I don't think he's as bad defender as people were worried about. I think he'll be okay. And I think Ball is going to have a big year. He missed a lot of last year with injury. I think he's going to have a big year. He's looked great in the preseason. I'm going to lay the Hornets. I know it's a lot on opening night. It's probably one of the favorites. I like a lot of underdogs, and you'll see as they get to this. Let's take the Hornets minus 5.5. Next game, we've got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks. I think maybe 2 of the top teams in the East. Total 228.5. Can the Knicks win as favorite here, or can the Cavs survive after what a disappointing playoffs they had last year?
The name Mike Brown in the NBA coaching circles is revolves. This is a guy that coached the Kings at one point, he was at the Warriors assistant coach for Steve Kerr. Of course, he coached the Cavs, and now he's coaching the Knicks. Mike Brown is everywhere. He's sort of like, syphilis in the Thai world, man. He's just everywhere. The dude is everywhere in the NBA over the last 30 years, just everywhere. Everywhere you find him, Mike Brown. I mean, the guy is literally everywhere. So, having said that, Lonzo Ball, came over to the Cavs from Chicago. He's expected to help out that second team a little bit, right? Move the ball with some ball improvement. You have Thomas Bryant, you have Larry Nance Jr., who's supposed to help the bolster the front court there. And they did draft Proctor 49th, all right? But keep in mind that Garland is expected to miss most of the season, if not all of it. Max Strauss is supposed to be out for the time being as well. The Knicks, of course, did sign Mike Brown as a coach, and Mikal Bridges got an extension. Jordan Clarkson they picked up in free agency as well. And they signed Yabusele as well. They have Hart, who has day-to-day dealing with back spasms, and Mitchell Robinson might suit up, might not. Availability is uncertain, and Carl Anthony, of course, is undergoing treatment as well. This game can honestly go either way, but I think what probably happens here is that this total sits at 220.5. I think that Mike Brown is going to preach defense to these guys a lot, and I could easily see this game probably going under the posted total a little bit too. The Cavs, of course, lost 4 of 5 to the Pacers, right, to close out. But the Cavs are the better coach team, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of Mike Brown overly, but of course, this is his own home opener as well. And a lot is expected out of this team. And I think, but any Mike Brown team, he's going to slow things down. He's the worst thing that can happen to a team's offense, right? So when you put that together and the fact that the Cavs roll in here, kind of, they're more defensively focused to begin with as it is. And by the way, head-to-head wise, the Cavs have beaten this team the last 4 times they played them. So I would either lean on the Cavs here or lean on the under, but if I had to pick something, I would probably take the under. Craig, you have the Philadelphia 76ers here facing the Boston Celtics. Sixers coming in as a 2.5-point dog. They started last year very, very slow, if you remember. Do you think they start off pretty fast this year? What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, this isn't a young team anymore. Maxey is probably the one guy that you'd say still has a lot more in front of him than behind him. Can Embiid stay healthy? That's the big question. They say he's looked great. They say he's going to be healthy. Hey, I think he's healthy for this game. That's all that matters. I'm taking the Sixers plus the points. The Celtics are extremely banged up. They, because they were in the, without Tatum, they were like, hey, we're not going to be great, so let's trade away some of the higher price guys. They had to let Al Horford walk as well. I just think Brown isn't ready to be the number one guy on this team. And I think the Celtics are going to struggle this year. I know Celtics have been good for a little while. I just think this is the year they take a step back with Tatum out for this season, or at least most of it. Take the Sixers plus the 2.5. I think they win outright in this one. Next game, Raptors at the Hawks. And we see the Hawks as a 5.5-point favorite. I was a little shocked here because I think this Toronto team is going to be much improved. Total 235.5. What do you like here?
So, Toronto beat this team the last 2 times they played them, 117-94 and 122-119. Yeah, I think Toronto's a sneaky good team. But, of course, I'm a huge Hawks fan, and I know how much the Hawks have improved as well. Toronto did extend Jacob Poeltl here. They, whereas as far as, Poeltl is also listed as questionable too, so keep that in mind. But, of course, the Hawks added Porzingis here. They locked up Dyson Daniels on a 4-year, $100 million extension as well after his breakout season. And the Hawks, man, I can tell you this, the Hawks roster is one of the best rosters out there. But the Raptors are always so feisty, but the Hawks still have Trae Young and Porzingis, Brisha Shea, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, Toppin and Kennard and Newell. The Hawks are good, Craig. I don't know about this game, but in general, the Hawks are very, very good. What I do like this team, I do think Toronto is going to be an up-tempo team, and I do like them to be an active dog. So I can see this game going over the posted total here in Hotlanta. All right, Craig, Detroit hooking up against Chicago here. Detroit coming in as a 3.5-point favorite. They had a pretty good year last year, right? You had a Detroit team that ended up losing to the Knicks, and after taking them to 6 games. And Chicago, of course, rolls in, losing to Miami. Well, Chicago closed the year out pretty well, but they didn't make it to the playoffs. Craig, who do you like here between the Pistons hooking up against the Bulls? Pistons coming in as a 3.5-point road chalk.
I don't think this Pistons team was satisfied with just getting in the playoffs and nearly beating the Knicks last year. I think Cade Cunningham is I think he had a breakout season last year. I think he takes another big step forward. I think his jump shot was much better last year. It will continue to improve this year. They're loaded. This is a loaded Pistons team in an Eastern Conference that is wide open now, with the Bucks losing, obviously Damian Lillard being gone and was going to be injured either way. The Celtics took a huge step back. Like you said, the Cavs team's going to be banged up to start the year. I think this is the team that kind of jumps on teams early. And I like the Pistons here minus 3.5. I think this might actually make my card potentially. It might be like a 2, 3, 4 unit play. I think they're for real, and it's going to show it tonight. Next game, Pelicans at the Grizzlies. A Grizzlies team that I understand them trading Bane. I get it. They kind of needed to mix things up. They felt like they were in a tough spot where they were just paying teams to be out of the playoffs or one of the last teams. Grizzlies -4 total 236.5. Is the Grizzlies team going to show some improvement this year? Because they've kind of been the same team the last few years.
Yeah, I think that I think people are underestimating how good New Orleans is this year. And for as much, I think people are also tired of Memphis in some ways too. In some respects, they kept expecting them to, take the next step, and they kept failing to do so. And New Orleans, they closed out last year losing 7 in a row. But this is a team, Craig, that has a lot of talent, man. If they could just put it together between Williamson and Poole and Murray and Murphy, Looney, Herbert Jones, Alvarado. I think this is a game. Sadiq Bey. I think this is a team that can do much better than people expect. Okay, but when you look at the Grizzlies roster, look, I get it. You want to try to see if you can try to pull it off with Morant and Edey as is kind of your core, and then you have Jackson and Jerome and Aldama and so forth. But I think this is a game in which the Pelicans and Zion will actually break out here. I do. I think the Pelicans are going to be much better than people give them credit for. This is a great public fade as well. I'm going to take New Orleans plus the 4 here because I've been reading a lot about Zion and how much he's improved. And I wouldn't be surprised at all here to see them do quite well. All right, Craig, how's it? Sign up for our free $60 of the premium selections, which is docsports.com/ICCT. You get free $60 of the premium selections so you can try us out. It's the best way to kind of thank us for all the hard work that we do, along with liking and subscribing and joining on YouTube Premium. You have a situation here. The next game, you have Washington come in as a 9.5-point dog to these Bucks. It's interesting. The Bucks GM said that every summer he always goes to Greece and checks on Giannis. It was like a little Greek summer trip. I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, maybe he just goes and says hello to Giannis and then just has a nice vacation with his family. But Washington comes in as a 9.5-point dog to Milwaukee. Who do you like here?
I hate what the Bucks did in the offseason. I just think Milwaukee, you're trying to convince Giannis to stay, and what did you do? What did you do that you think is going to be long-term successful? Obviously, Lillard, he was going to be mostly out for this year anyway, so I understood that one a little bit. But then they didn't go add another shoot. You have to add shooting around him. He's not a great shooter. He's going to drive to the hole and leave guys wide open. I just don't think they did. So Washington, I don't know what they were doing because they went and got older. They got C.J. McCollum and Middleton. I like these guys, but by the time you get good, these guys aren't going to be in the league probably. But you're giving me 9.5 points against a Bucks team that I think is super flawed, super, super flawed. I think this team is going to be lucky to be a 6 or 7 seed in a pretty poor Eastern Conference. Give me Washington here plus the 9.5. I don't think they win, but I think they're like a feisty dog that, loses by 7 or 8, gets dominated the higher game, and still covers this big number. Next game, Clippers and the Jazz. And the Clippers, a lot of people, it's like the same thing the last few years. It's like, if only Kawhi Leonard will be healthy. Well, sounds like he's healthy. Clippers favored by 9.5, total 227. Is this finally the year we see the Clippers ancient? This is one of the oldest teams in the league that finds a way.
I think we all owe Greg Popovich and the Spurs an apology. Because I understand that Kawhi went to Toronto and won another championship with them, but I guarantee you his handlers were asking part ownership of the Spurs, something lunacy. He was asking for part ownership of the Lakers, right? And that's what the Lakers were like, no thanks. So Kawhi's handlers are nuts. They're crazy, and Kawhi knows exactly what they're doing, getting paid under the table. I'm not a huge fan of Kawhi anymore after all of this. All of that rumors and whatever, they're entirely true. All of them are true about Kawhi. Okay, this is a guy that is a really nice guy, but he's got his handlers doing all the work. And it's just, if you want to just come out fourth and just ask what you want, that's differently. But to ask, imagine the gonads ask for part ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers. Say, I'll come to your team, but you got to give me ownership of the team. I mean, it's just lunacy. It's just absolute lunacy. But I will tell you this. You have John Collins, who came over from Utah to this team, right? This team is older, but with all the adversity the Clippers have had, they're going to want to kill somebody, okay? And I think they're going to want to probably take it out on the Jazz here. So for that reason, I'm going to back the Clippers here. But the Clippers have a ton of depth as well this year. They are older, but they have a ton of depth. Utah, it's going to take some time again. Utah still has a lot. You have Markkanen, Markkanen's been out forever, dude. I don't think Markkanen actually plays. Markkanen has been out with a wrist contusion at this point. You have Niang, who's sidelined for the next couple weeks as well. They did pick up Nurkic and Kyle Anderson and Kevin Love, but they're all already older guys. So put it all together. I'm back in the Clippers. All right, Craig, Spurs coming in as a 3.5-point dog to the Mavericks. This is a game that a lot of people are going to be excited to see. Obviously, you have a young rookie that's trying to make his way here. The Spurs looked pretty good last year. They came on strong near the end. Who do you like here?
I love the Spurs team. I think they are loaded. They just need to get these rookies to realize, hey, you got to throw the big guy the ball. Wembanyama, this dude is a monster. Don't forget about him. That's like you got to involve him because it keeps him interested on the other end of the court where he's like just swatting everybody. Cooper Flagg's I think it's going to be great. I think obviously went out and got Russell to deal with Kyrie being gone for probably most of the year. Maybe he comes back in February, March. But I think they're still a little lacking on the guard play. Like Klay Thompson at his age, I just don't know what you can expect. I know these young guys at the Spurs are going to be ready to go. I think it means a lot to this young team. Take the Spurs plus the points in this one. But I will say, I have a small ticket on Dallas to win the Western Conference this year. I think they're loaded. If they can stay healthy and get Kyrie back, I think this team could win the Western Conference playoffs this season. All right, next game we're looking at is the Sacramento Kings against the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, I just don't know what this team's doing. Like, you get Durant, you trade Durant, you added Beal, you added all these guys, and then you got nothing. You didn't even make the playoffs. Phoenix Suns -4, total 227.5. What do you like?
I mean, you have the Kings coming in as a 4-point dog here. I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, we don't know what the Suns are doing but at the same time, I don't know what the Kings are doing either.
Well, that's true.
So I don't know what a lot of these teams are doing, man. I do know what the Hawks are doing, and I understand, I understand the patience that the Pelicans are trying to do. I know what the Spurs are doing. I know what the Mavericks are doing. Those front offices sort of make sense here. But you have the Kings here who did sign Keegan Murray to a 5-year deal. They also picked up Russell Westbrook to a 1-year deal, and then they signed Saric and then Drew Eubanks. Sabonis is still out with a hamstring. And then you have the Suns here who moved on from Durant, and they signed Booker to a 2-year extension. At least they got that one right. And then they have Jalen Green in there as well. He is supposed to miss the opener, though, with a hamstring issue. I think what you can look for is that you have, you have a Kings team that I think that, because Phoenix does not have depth, right? So the Kings are going to try this situation with Schroeder and Westbrook, which is interesting. They do have DeRozan, they do have Levine, they do have Keegan Murray. So that's a lot of talent as well. I just don't know about their backcourt. I have no faith in what the Suns are doing either. I don't. So when you put it together, just from the pure talent standpoint, I'm going to take the Kings plus the 4. I think it does make a little bit of sense. Craig, last game on the board, Minnesota -4-point favorite against the Portland Trailblazers here. Minnesota, of course, has an incredible amount of talent. They beat them 114-98 last year. They did lose. They only took one game against Oklahoma City last year before they fell short. Who do you like here?
Yeah, Minnesota, I thought should be favored by more. So it instantly, when I think a line should be, say, 7 or 8, and the line's close to half of that, I almost always like, okay, what am I missing? Why shouldn't I be talking about this Blazers team? The Blazers at points last year were a really good underdog team. And they got some good young talent. And Chauncey Billups, good coach. I think this guy, if they stay with him and be patient, which they have been, I think
they came on strong last year too. Yeah. Remember,
they were terrible at the beginning, but they in the middle they were pretty good, and at the end they weren't so good with a lot of injuries. They started resting guys. But I like the Blazers here. I think they're going to give the scare to this team, and the public. One of the biggest public plays of the night, 67% already on the Timberwolves, and it's pouring in. I think we'll probably get more. We'll probably get this at 4.5 if you wait. So wait till game time. Let's take the Blazers. I think they're a sneaky underdog tonight. Let's sprinkle a little on the money line as well on that one. All right, so that's what we have for Wednesday. This is the opening day for all these teams on Wednesday. Of course, it opened on Tuesday. But if you want to get in on our absolute top plays for football, hey, go in. DocSports.com/Craig Arun. You get both of us 2 cappers, just $99. It's usually $99 per capper. So make sure you get in on that at this link. And don't forget, get some extra parlays and props and everything for just $49.99 a month. Join our YouTube Premium Level 3, the Premium Plus. You will not regret the value you get here. Good luck, and we'll see you again tomorrow.